Hey everyone, I wanted to go over the new and exciting news that we have for Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak on both the Nintendo Switch and on PC. And that's the fact that we now have the official confirmation of the next Developer Challenge weapon that will be used for one of the upcoming event quests for free title update number 3. If you haven't necessarily been keeping up, about a couple of weeks back, the official Monster Hunter Twitter account of both Japan, Asia, and North America went ahead and put out the second poll for the Developers Challenge. This is where developers end up playing a weapon that players vote in for one of the upcoming dual threat monster event quests that we are set to get for the next free title update. The last one that we ended up getting was, of course, the Malzeno Shagaru Magala, where developers were forced to finally get their hands on the gun lance, and we ended up getting some of the gameplay that you got to see just a few weeks back. After that, they posted yet another poll confirming that, of course, they were going to be running that same developer challenge again for the Asian, Japanese, and North American Twitter accounts. And this time, you were going to be seeing them play one of the upcoming December event quests. Still not confirmed what the title of the event quest is or when it's going to drop, presumably the second or third week of December, somewhere around there. We still don't necessarily know all the quests for the third free title update, which we are getting later this month. But we do know that they are going to be fighting a Furious Rajang in the Crimson Glow Valstrax. And the 4 weapons that players got to vote on for the developers to use were the Sword and Shield, the Hammer, the Insect Glaive, or the Light Bowgun. And it turns out we now have an official winner. As of the final result, 13,042 votes in the North American Twitter accounts confirmed that the Insect Glaive was going to end up being their weapon of choice. For the Japanese audience, 58,000 votes later, Insect Glaive also ended up being the winner. In the Asian account, they actually do end up doing 2 separate polls, one in English and one in Chinese. The English one only received 117 votes, so this is probably what they ended up disregarding one. This one did end up seeing the Hammer being the winner, and then in the Chinese post, they ended up confirming that 855 votes picked up basically mostly the Insect Glaive. That led to the most recent confirmation post from all of these official Twitter accounts from both North America, Japan, and Asia. And they all basically read the same: "Thank you for your votes, hunters. The results are in. The weapon being showcased in the next Developers Challenge Sunbreak is the Insect Glaive. Stay tuned for next month's dual threat quest." Once again, this one is going to be up against a Furious Rajang in the Crimson Glow Valstrax. We don't necessarily know if it's going to be in the Citadel like the previous one, or if they're going to have booster parameters or anything along those lines. Again, the details for these event quests are still not out. We're waiting for the next patch update, of course, for free title number 3, so we can end up getting a full-on confirmation as to just what type of event quest we're going to get. Of course, I'm going to be covering that all the way through, as we're expecting a whole brand new batch of event quests. And this dual threat one seems to be the one that they are kind of like getting people excited for. So we now know that the Insect Glaive will be the developer weapon that they are going to be using. And of course, this has already led to a lot of people to speculate that Insect Glaive will be the next weapon that gets some sort of love. Maybe not just even leading up to free title update number 3, but of course, as they finally get their hands on it and end up using it, they end up adjusting the Kinsect one way or another for heading into the 4th free title update. That seems to have been the pattern so far. Whatever weapon players force the developers to use, they end up tweaking it one way or another. So we're just gonna have to wait and see if that does end up happening this time around. I did end up voting for the Sword and Shield pretty much in every single one of the polls. That is the weapon that I was hoping for them to see. The Hammer did also get a lot of love, but ultimately the Insect Glaive gang ended up getting their way and it ended up winning. So we're just gonna have to wait and see if the developers choose to adjust anything prior to this free title update number 3's release, or if they end up doing some sort of adjustments as we end up getting, of course, weekly updates and more news for more changes and stuff like that heading into the 4th free title update, which as of right now, I will remind you guys, we don't necessarily know when that will be. There is this nebulous 2023 and the, of course, patch notes information, and of course the roadmap, so we don't necessarily know when. We expect it to be sometime around February. That is the timeline that we have seen every 2 months. There's a new free title update, but of course, you know, things can change. Of course, there's also the assumption of a 5th one later in 2023, but again, this is all nebulous stuff. Right now, we can just expect the one in late November, and heading forward is kind of like still up in the air. But that's about all the information that I have for you guys today. If you're the Insect Glaive users that voted, certainly you should be excited. If you're, a Hammer or Sword and Shield user, probably next time. If you're brand new to my channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Hit the bell to receive notifications when the videos go up. And as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya.